All right, it is my pleasure to have the owner of the Shamrock FC promotion on the show right now, Jesse Finney, as we get ready for Shamrock FC 331 happening this Saturday, September the 25th. Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to have you. I've been talking with Ed for a while now to make this interview happen. So I'm happy that it's going down now. And really exciting card. You have 13 fights total, 11 MMA bouts, and 2 kickboxing bouts. A really interesting headlining bout here between Evan Edler and Paris Padilla on the main card. So let's start with that and tell people a little bit about this matchup. What can we expect stylistically from these two?
Well, I mean, there's it's gonna be a great main event. You got someone like Evan Elders, who's 5-0 at this point, and he's fighting Paris Padilla, who's 4-1, two up and comers. And Elders is training out of Florida with Sanford MMA. Michael Chandler's his main training partner down there, so and that should tell you something. He's a stud. I think the kid will be in the UFC or Bellator, and probably next calendar year. And then you got Paris Padilla, who is a guy that's fought for us one other time. He's a guy that's a complete gamer that comes to fight, super hard, good record, and he'll bring the fight. He'll bring the fight to Elders, but Elders is a guy that never really truly wrestled in college or wrestled growing up a little high school, but is not a D1 wrestler like a lot of these guys. But he's probably the hardest worker in any gym that he's in at all times, and he's a very well-rounded fighter. So I think. If I look at this fight, probably both fighters I think want to stand up and keep it going. Stand up and bang is what the fans want anyway. So I think that's probably where the fight's going to end up going. Someone's probably going to get knocked out, to be honest with you.
When you're looking at matchups to decide who's going to be your main event, is there something specific that you and the matchmakers are really dialing into to figure out, okay, what is the most important factors here to make sure we have the most exciting main event possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody really wants two guys that just want to go out there and lay on each other, right? I mean, like it really truly is. I mean, like if we see a fight that's going to be the co-main event, but it's also not as marquee of a fight. I mean, we try to make the marquee fight as the main event is going to be more the exciting fight, where guys want to stand up and bang a little bit, take it to the ground, but don't want to just lay and prey on people. I think those days are done, and I think that styles make fights, and I think this fight has all the makings to be just an incredible fight.
And you mentioned Evan being down at Sanford, Michael Chandler's main training partner. Will Chandler be in attendance come fight night? Will there be any other bigger names from the Sanford gym in the arena?
I'm not sure at the moment right now, but Michael's also from St. Louis as well, where the fights are in St. Charles, Missouri, which is probably about, I'd say, 40 minutes from probably 45 minutes from where Michael grew up. So he's living full-time in Florida right now. I don't know if he's coming back for the weekend or not. I really haven't got the corners yet, so I'm not real sure. We usually have quite a few guys in the audience. We've had Marcus Allen, Ozzie Smith, a lot of celebrities usually end up at the fights. So I think hopefully, Joaquin Buckley just fought this last weekend. He came out of our organization. I mean, geez, the list goes on and on. I mean, I could tell you probably probably 40 guys that came through, probably more than that, probably 60 guys that came to our organization and fought in UFC, and probably another 60 or 80 that have fought in Bellator. So I feel like, this is our 331st show. It'd be 24 years. So, you never know who's going to show up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you guys are clearly, I don't know if this is the right term to use, but I think of kind of like a feeder promotion to the UFC. I mean, there's CES, there's LFA, there's so many unbelievable promotions across the country that are really that next stop for fighters to, get a big win, and then they're in the big show in the UFC. What is that mentality like for you as the owner of the promotion to, help these fighters get to that next level? Because everyone, it seems like, wants to get to the UFC ultimately.
Right. I think right nowadays is, I was a fighter as well. So I come from the background of that. I understand what these guys want to get to. I know that if they want to train with, they want to fight for our organization, that, their end goal is not say, okay, I want to fight for Shamrock FC. I came from a baseball background, so I understand. I compare it to like AAA baseball. Nobody wants to be a AAA baseball player the whole career. They want to try to get to the major leagues. And I would say the major leagues are the UFC and Bellator. And I think that, if we can send a guy on to UFC or Bellator and be a part of their career, That's like I said, I came from a fight background. My stepfather was a fighter. I was a fighter. So I want what's best for these guys. And I think that at the end of the day, if they can make it there and solidify themselves, and I think it's great for them. I mean, it's, a lot of guys always obviously come back to the shows, and we try to put on a quality show too. So these guys, we get them prepared. It's not just in the cage, but outside the cage. They do a lot of PR, and they have to understand that's not just go in there and just fight, just put your head down and fight and be gone. You have to learn how to market yourself. We're going to market for you as well, but we're going to show you, what it's going to take to get all your paperwork in on time. We're going to, the preparation, what also goes with when you get to the big show, the UFC and Bellator, because when you are there, you're representing us, and I think a lot of fighters do take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Another question I have for you that I think is a really interesting topic to discuss. Have you ever been in a situation where you have a fighter that's booked and it's getting close to the fight night, and you get a phone call from, the UFC, it's Dana or Mick or Sean or someone, and they want that fighter to step up on a short notice fight and contract? Has that ever been a scenario that you've experienced? So what do you do in a situation like that?
Well, I mean, yes, we have. I mean, we had the guy right now that's in Bellator, who's probably one of the top prospects, and Johnny Eblin was a guy that was just like that. We experienced that in Kansas City, and I will tell you at the end of the day, we won't be able to honor their contracts, but at the end of the day, we want what's best for the fighter. So we'll absolutely let them out of that contract to go fight for the UFC or Bellator, and it's just a matter of time. And we know that going into it, but I think that if it's they're a couple days out from one of our fight cards and something like that would happen, if they're going to fight in a month or 2 months, I mean, I think that we've worked with them in the past, and so at the end of the day, I think those organizations want what's best for the fighter, and so do we. So yeah. And what's best for the fighter and their payday is that we don't pay as much as the UFC or Bellator, obviously. Is we want what's best for the fighter.
All right, let's transition back to FC 331 here. Again, it goes down September 25th. This Saturday, you can watch it live on Fight TV, or if you're in town, the Ameristar Casino in St. Charles, Missouri. Now, the co-main event is Chris Craig and Dylan Tolbert. I'm excited for this matchup. For anyone that doesn't know these two, tell me a little bit about what we can see come Fight Night from this co-main event.
So, yeah, I will tell you the fight shakes out on Saturday night. It's going to be a great card. I mean, right now we're sitting here. We've got probably 25 seats left in the whole arena. And then we have probably less than 100 standing room only tickets. So it will sell out. It's just a matter of when it's going to sell out here in the next couple of days. As far as the matchup goes, Dylan Tolbert's a guy that just fought as a main event on the last card, June 24th or 25th or 26th. I don't know if he was on that Friday or Saturday. He's a guy that brings the fight all the time. He's the guy that's going to get in your face, and he's going to get after it. And I love watching him fight. A lot of people don't like the little guys fighting. I'm a fan of it because they're nonstop and they just go. And Chris Craig is a collegiate wrestler, but you would think that he was a boxer because all he wants to do is stand up and just bang the whole time. Dylan Tolbert's got a granite chin and is a guy that will bring the fight to anybody at all times. So I think it'll be a really stylistic, great fight. And which is ironic. I've probably talked to 5 people today overall, and I would say 5 would say that Chris Craig's going to win. Maybe 2 or 3 or 6 people are going to say that Dylan Tolbert's going to win. And realistically, I think this fight could go either which way, and I think that's what makes a good main event or co-main event. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. And I think that when Chris Craig comes, he's either going to get knocked out or knock somebody out. And that's just the way it is. And Dylan Tolbert, there's no quitting the guy. I mean, the last time that he just fought, he got put to sleep, no tap, he was out sleeping. So he's fought Ariane Zeki, and so Ariane's another up-and-coming prospect we have as well. And I think with Chris Craig, it's gonna be a hell of a fight. I really think so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm glad you mentioned Ariane too, because I've interviewed him previously, and he's someone that really has a bright future. Do you anticipate him being on your next card in early October?
He's not going to be in early October. He's going to be our card October 23rd. He's fighting on that card. I don't know if it's been released yet, but he's got another tough opponent. The October 9th card that's going to be in Kansas City is going to be Garrett Armfeld is fighting Sharky Slider, which is a hell of a fight as well. And then what's going to happen with that? I don't know if somebody broke this down yet, but you're welcome to release it. Garrett Armfeld is fighting Sharky October 9th, and then Ariane's fighting October 23rd. if Ariane wins on October 23rd, then he will fight the winner of Garrett Armfeld and Sharky Slider in December back in St. Louis, or back in St. Charles, Missouri at Maristar Casino. So that is a nice little scenario breaking down, and I'm excited for that. Those are all really good fighters, really exciting guys that all come to fight.
Yeah, and Garrett, he's a Sanford guy himself. You must have a pretty good relationship with the gym down there.
We do. We have a good relationship with the guys. I mean, I think that, there's a lot of St. Louis guys that came out of there. We have, we've done a lot of shows in the St. Louis market, in the Missouri market as well. Garrett is a guy that is, he's a tough guy, man. He's a tough guy. He's fighting on October 23rd or October 9th, like I was just saying. So, I mean, we keep the guys busy. We keep the fighters busy, and it's gonna be a great card, man.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, the volume, the number of shows that you've done it's really incredible. This is going to be 331. What is your secret to success, to sustainability, to be able to keep putting on these great shows?
Well, I think the secret to success is surrounding yourself with good people. Rob Doniker, who's my matchmaker and best friend, is godfather of my daughter. He's been with me from day one. Day one, literally. Does a great job. He runs operations and does all the matchmaking, and then the rest of the staff that I like to call them staff, the team that we surround ourselves with. It's just good people, good relationships, good partnerships with the casinos. I think that everything we do is, we're pretty direct and pretty upfront, so it's not a lot of gray areas with us. We put on a first class event. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, the events in St. Louis are 21 and up. Our average ticket price is around $80 or $90. So it's an expensive ticket, but we put on first class events. I mean, when you look at the production that we put onto these things and put these guys on the spotlight like they deserve, the fighters, and the platform they deserve, and then also move them on to the next level. I really don't think that anybody does the whole package the way that we do. That's not a knock against CES or any of the other organizations. But if you look at what we're putting on, and production wise, quality of fights, and 331 events, I don't think anybody is doing something like that. So I mean, and we're staying busy. I mean, we got 3 fights here in 6 weeks, right? So and the fighters like to stay busy, and we got great sponsors and great fans that support us. So I think that's the key to success.
How has COVID affected your ability to operate normally, and what have been some of the hurdles that you've had to overcome to really put on shows like you normally would pre the pandemic?
Well, obviously, COVID's thrown a big wrench in a lot of different things, but I think that it also gave us the opportunity to look at a lot of different things and where we could grow. Right, we could grow and get our maximize what we have already. But I mean, quite honest with you, like it's been a challenge, but it's also been things that we can look at and dig into and dissect and also grow at the same time, right? So like you can see who's been with you and who's been loyal to you. So these guys want to jump to another ship just really quick because they can go fight at an Elks Lodge or something like that, just to get a little fight. But it's like, hey, listen, don't think a day, a couple months in advance, think long term. And now we're really sticking with these guys, and that's the reason we did the dual event in June, because so many guys stuck with us for so long, and we rewarded them, and they rewarded us as well. So I think it's a good relationship.
How has the vaccinated versus unvaccinated issue affected, fighters getting cleared to actually perform come fight night? Has that been a problem to actually, get these fighters past their medicals to be cleared to perform?
Not at the moment, like with vaccinations or something like that along those lines. We're with Missouri, where these 2 events are at, they're really, I mean, if you don't want to fight someone that's unvaccinated, don't fight them. If you want to fight someone that is vaccinated, then fight them. I mean, like, we give everybody the opportunity. They know who they're fighting, and it's their choice. And that's kind of the state that we live in, luckily enough. So it's been some challenges, but you know what? Safety first for the fighters and the fans and everybody. So it's up to you. Like, I mean, look, if you don't want to come to the show because you think that you're scared to go hide in a hole, then go hide in the hole and don't come to the fights. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's Do what you gotta do. And hey, listen, if you want to come to the fights and you want to wear a mask, come to the fights and wear a mask. If you want to stay home and watch it on Fight TV, stay home and watch it on Fight TV. Like just support the cause. I mean, it's just like, it's your choice. And I think that, with where we're at, like when we're in Kansas City in a couple weeks, the mask mandate is in effect at the moment, but supposedly it ends here in like 2 weeks or in a week, so who knows? It has not affected our ticket sales whatsoever. I mean, like I said, we did an event June 25th, 24th and 25th, sold both of them out in advance. I mean, completely. So, and it was probably one of the most rewarding times because people got there. They were so excited. They were so happy. And it's what we need to get back to be honest. It just might get political here, but I feel like as a country is stop living in fear. You know what? And if you don't want to do something, then don't do it. But like if you want to go to some events, then go. So I mean, that's for us.
I love it. Very well said. We're living in a very crazy and weird world right now. There's no doubt about it. Now, we talked about the main and co-main event, but there's a lot more great fights on this card. So when you look at the undercard here and just some of the matchups that stand out to you, give the people watching a couple of fights that really maybe you could steal the show.
Sure. I mean, if I'm looking at it, I think there's three other fights that really popped in my head. I mean, I think two of them are ready as Jeremiah Cutright and Malio Gonzalez is both great camps. Both guys like to stand and bang. So, I mean, that makes an exciting time for everybody. And then you got Jackson Hinson and Joanna Andrews. Jackson Hinson's dad was an Olympic gold or Olympic silver medalist, I think it was. Silver or bronze, I'm not sure. I should probably know that. His dad, Sammy Hinson, was Chuck Liddell's wrestling coach. He was a head coach at Clemson University. I mean, he's a 3-time world champion. Sammy Hinson, that's his son, Jackson Hinson. Jackson's an explosive wrestler. His brother is going to University of Iowa, full ride for wrestling. His sister's going to K-State for soccer. I mean, they're an extremely athletic family. Jackson's a superstar in the making. They both fought on the same card back in June. Both said they wanted to fight each other. So kudos for those guys wanting to compete against tough guys. So I think that's a hell of a fight. And then there's a gentleman by the name of Austin Cornell's fighting Skylar Van Treese, start the night off. And that's a really great fight as well. Two guys that'll just always bring the fight, and which is always extremely exciting. And I'm just looking at the card, but I mean the whole card's stacked top to bottom. And like I said, 13 fights, 11 MMA fights, 2 kickboxing fights. It's going to be awesome.
When will the first fight kick off, and what time do you expect the event to be over?
Well, we kicked the event off at 7:30 sharp. We started off on Shamrock FC Facebook page, and we will stream the first 1 or 2 fights for free, and then we will be streamed live on Fight TV. Fight start at 7:30 Central, right? So 7:30 Central. So what's that? 8:30 Eastern for you guys or for the East Coast, and then fights usually get over probably about 10:30. So it's probably about a 3-hour event. We'll take 1 intermission, and it'll be a hell of a fight.
All right. And for anyone that can't make it that wants to watch it on Fight TV, what does that cost like?
The cost is $19.99. It's $19.99. You're able to watch it there, and you want to watch it for a few days afterwards as well. It's been a good success with Fight TV, and I mean it's going really well. We enjoy our partnership with them.
It's fantastic. Well, listen, Mr. Finney, thank you for the time today. Pleasure interviewing you here for the first time. Again, September 25th, Shamrock FC 331. It all goes down on Fight TV and from the Ameristar Casino in St. Charles, Missouri. Before I let you go, sir, if there's anything you want to plug, tell anyone to go follow any of your pages. The floor is yours.
No, I appreciate your support. I mean, you can always support us on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter. You look up on shamrockfc.com is for all of our updates. And, we look to be putting out our 2022 calendar here in the next couple of weeks. And, we'll continue to keep pushing. I think we're going to try to enter into one other market. We're in the St. Louis, St. Charles, Kansas City market, 3 different cities right now. We're going to try to go into a 4th market in 2022. And hopefully we'll get that news out to you guys here probably next month or so.